is not greater than B. So what should be the symbol between A and B? What will come here? What is the possible relation between A and B? Absolutely, that has to be a less than equal to, right? So smaller than or equal to, absolutely. So you can say A can either be less than or equal because you can say greater than is already cancelled out. So whatever is cancelled out, apart from that, the rest of the things will be the possible relation. Let's say if it is given A is not greater than equal to B, then what will be the relation here? If you have been given A is not greater than equal to B, means yes, A has to be less than B, right? So I hope this is clear to everybody. So that is inequality based on negations, right? Negation is nothing different, but you just need to understand whatever is to be the final relationship. That we will be solving with the help of the normal syllogism, so the inequality only. Okay, sure. Let's have a look at the arrow. That is how we use this, how we solve the answer here, how we find it. Now, first of all, we have to check whether the traveling is possible between two variables or not, right? So the first step to check is whether you can determine the answer or not. That is, the relationship between two variables is possible to determine or not. First of all, the first step will need to check whether traveling is possible or not. Okay, you need to check whether traveling is possible or not. This is very important to check. Now, how do we understand that whether traveling is possible or not? Let's understand. Let's say there are two groups of sites, right? Let's say this is your group 1 and we have your group 2. Now what we will do here is we will segregate the same kind of symbols. That is, let's say if we have greater than, we have greater than equal to or equal to. So you can see we have similar kind of symbols in here. That is greater than equal to or equal to. Okay, so that will be coming under group 1. Now your less than equal to or equal to comes under group 2, right? So we have made two groups in here where we have similar kind of symbols. Greater than equal to, less than and less than equal to. Now equal to does not, right? Equal to is no, does not have a specific group. You can take it in either of the groups. So it does not matter where you put it. You can put it in group 1 also. You can put it in group 2. There is no problem with equal to here. Okay, so equal to does not matter. Now how do we determine whether traveling is possible or not? Let's say we have a statement that is given like A is greater than B, greater than equal to C, less than B is equal to E, then we have greater than equal to F, then we have greater than G, then we have less than H. Now let's see what is the meaning of traveling and what is the meaning of open end and closed end. What is the meaning of open end here? Open end is the end where the mouth is open. That means let's say if we have a symbol like this, so you can see this is the open end because this side you can see that the gate is open or the mouth of this arrow is open here, and closed end will be this point where the lines are meeting. That is the corner here, right? So open end will be the open side where the mouth is open, and the closed end is the one where the mouth is meeting. That is the corner, right? So this has to be open end. So how do we understand whether traveling is possible or not? Traveling will be possible only if you have open end to close end. That means all the symbols should be like this, right? If you are traveling in this direction, that is from let's say left hand side to right hand side, all the symbols should be in this possible manner, in this manner, such that you have open end, then close end, open end, then close end. So you have to understand this. Let's say there are different destinations, right? You can see there are different destinations. Now to reach every destination, the gate should be open in love, else you will not be able to travel. Let's say if we have to travel from A to B, let's say if we have to travel from A to B, we have to check. Let's say we have to find the relation that is there between A and B. That means we have to travel A to B via B and C. We cannot directly jump to B because everything in between has to be covered, right? Because everything is interdependent. A is related to B, B is related to C, then C is related to D. A is not directly related to D, so you cannot jump directly from A to D. How do we find the relation? How do we travel? We have to travel via B and C only. Okay. So let's understand whether we can travel or not. So you can see here that A to B we have a proof open end, right? You can see this is an open end here, no problem. Again B to C you can see we have an open end here, the greater than equal to sign. This is the open end, this is the closed end. Similarly, if you have a less than equal to, you can see this is the open end and this is the closed end. For equal to, both sides are open end. For less than, this is again open end, this is again closed end. So wherever you have the mouth open, you can take that as the open end. Okay. So here you can see that from A to B you can travel because you have the open end here, no problem at all. After B to C, again you can travel from B to C because you have the open end here. But after C to D, can we travel from C to D? Here you can see we have a closed end here, so the gate is closed. So after C you cannot travel. Now if you cannot reach from C to D, how will you reach A to D? So if you cannot travel, that means the relationship cannot be determined. Now when do we have relation as cannot be determined? When we have symbols of opposite nature. That is some symbol of group 1 and some symbol of group 2. If you have the combination of group symbols between two different variables, then the relation is always cannot be determined. And what is the meaning of cannot be determined? That means it can be anything. It can be greater than, it can be less than, or it can be equal. So any relationship is possible. We do not know the exact relationship here, right? So what will be the relation from A to D? First step was traveling is possible or not. So you can see from A to D you cannot travel. From A to D you cannot travel. You can travel from A to C. But after C you cannot travel, right? So after C the relation with A to anybody else cannot be determined here. So A to D or A to E, A to F, F to G, right? You can see here that you will not be able to determine the relation after your C. I hope this is clear to everybody. Okay. So you can see here. Now let's take another test. Let's say what is the relationship from B to G. So first of all, let's from B to G, whether the traveling is possible or not between B to G. Have a look at the statement and let me know. Can we travel from B to G? Can we determine the relation from B to G? The first step, we are just checking whether traveling is possible or not. Can we travel from B to G here? Anybody who will let me know whether we can travel from B to G? Can we? Yes, Prajwal says yes. Absolutely. Priority order, right? Priority order of the symbols. Now, what is priority order of the symbol? Priority order of the symbol is this only. That is greater than between two variables. Let's say between D and G. We need to find the relation between D and G. So you will check the symbols that are here between D and G. You will all the symbols that exist from D to G. So you can say you have an equal to, you have a and a greater than. So always remember that greater than gets a highest priority over greater than equal to or equal to. Okay, symbols have to be of similar nature to determine the relation. You can already seen that yes, symbols are the same nature, right? They are from the same group, so that means you can determine the answer from D to G. Now, if you have any greater than sign between your D to G, that means the answer has to be greater than. Okay. So first priority greater than gets the second priority will be taken as greater than. Let's say if we have E is equal to A is greater than equal to G, right? Let's say this was the symbol here. So you can see because we do not have a greater than sign between D to G, the relationship from D to G will be taken as E is greater than equal to G. Okay, I hope this is clear. So you have to consider it in the same priority order. That is greater than gets the highest priority, then greater than equal to, and then finally your equal to, right? So you will be taking it into this manner. I hope this is clear to everybody. So this is how you will be deciding the priority order. That is greater than gets the highest priority, similarly greater than equal to, and then equal to. Similarly, if you talk about again, less than gets the highest priority, then less than equal to, and equal to is the third one. Okay. So now understand one thing that you have to remember is that the relation from the open understand the questions here. So the first question is there on your screen, right? So we'll understand that how do we combine these statements. You can see we have different statements here. They are not interrelated, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 statements are given in here. So you have to combine these statements and then you have to check whether the conclusions are true or not. Now how do we combine it? We will be doing the same thing here like we do in puzzles. We take the common variable, right? With the help of common variable, we combine the data. Here also we will be combining the data using the common variable. So you can see we can connect M R to R to T, right? R to T, you can connect to T to E. Now if you connect it, you can see that the first one can be determined. That is M is greater than equal to R is equal to T, and T is greater than equal to, right? So what is the relation that we have from M to E? Who will tell me what is the relation from M to E? Can we travel from M to E? You can see that yes, traveling is possible. Right? Traveling is possible, but what will be the relation? That is your M is greater than equal to, right? So you can see here, because it is given as greater than, this becomes invalid, right? So the first one is invalid because the relationship as per this has to be greater than equal to, because the symbols in between are greater than equal to, greater than equal to. So you can see that greater than equal to gets a higher priority over equal to. That is why this one will not be valid here. Yes, maybe it's not now O greater than R. Here do we see O greater than R? You can see we have O greater than equal to 5. Then after that we have Y is less than 8, right? So इसके आगे check करेंगे जरा भी, you don't need to check it after 8 Y, because you can see that we have only one Y here, right? This was your O to Y, and then we have your Y to Y. There is no other Y in this complete set of statements. Okay, so there are only two Y's in here. After that means you have to connect it by between 8 and 8, and then N and so on, right? So that is how you will be connecting it one by one. But once you see that from O to Y is possible, Y to 8 is not possible. Once you see that Y to 8 also traveling is not possible, that means after that also it will not be possible. That means second becomes invalid because the relationship from O to this person R cannot be determined. Why cannot be determined? Because we can have symbols of opposite nature in between. So what will be the relation between O to R? That is, it cannot be determined. So it can be greater than, it can be less than, or it can be equal to. So anything is possible. So you can see that second is also not true. So neither 1 nor 3 follows. Neither 1 nor 2 follows would be the answer here. I hope this is clear to everyone. Please let me know if you have any doubts in the chat. We'll quickly go to the next question. Next question again.
Oh.
be the right answer here. So you can see that is the right answer in which of the following k greater than equal to L is not true, that is not definitely true. In the first one you can see because we have a greater than equal to and greater than equal to when we are traveling from K to L, right? Why we will be traveling from K to L and not L to K? Because we have a both end towards the K side. So we will be checking the relation with respect to K side here. Okay, so you can see we have K is greater than equal to L, K is equal to T and T is greater than equal to L. So you can see we will be getting the relation as K greater than equal to L. In the second one again you can see K will be greater than equal to L. In the third one also what will be the relation from K to L? You can see again K will be greater than equal to L. Here also if you check in the E part, K will be greater than equal to L. And what about option number 2? You can see here that we have a greater than sign between K to T. So that means greater than gets the highest priority here. So that is why the relation here will be K is greater than L, right? Not greater than equal to. That is why this one is not definitely true. So the answer here will be option number D. Right? So option D will be the right answer here. I hope this is clear to everybody. Sure. Let's go to the cases of either. Right? Let's understand the cases of either or. Then we'll have more questions. And don't worry, we will be having more questions in the subsequent classes as well. Today is concept class, right? So either or. Let's understand what do we have. When do we have either or? Kind of years in this one, right? So there are three. You can say requirements for either or. Right? The first one will be that the conclusions should not be definitely true or false, right? So that means the conclusions, like we had in syllogisms also, here also the meaning of either or is the same. That is either one is true or two is true, right? So that means it has a possibility. We do not know the exact relationship, it has a possibility. That is conclusions should not be definitely true or definitely false, right? If it is definitely true, you will be marking that as the answer. Let's say if the first one is coming as definitely true, so you will mark it as true, you will not frame it under the case or category of either or, right? Now, when do we have definitely, in what case do we have a possibility kind of relationship? You can see the possibility kind of relationship will be there in two particular cases. When you have a greater than equal to or less than equal to. Why? Because you can see the meaning of greater than equal to is A is either greater than or equal to B. Right? So you can see there is an either or usage between that. So greater than or equal. It cannot be same. It cannot be both at the very same time. When A is greater than B, then equal to will be first, and when A is equal to B, then greater than will be first. So if you have a sign that is not greater than equal to or less than equal to, right, between the two variables, then there can be a possibility of either or. The second is when you have a cannot be determined kind of a relationship. That is when you have symbols of opposite nature. So if you have symbols of opposite nature, that means either or is a possibility. Why? Because cannot be determined means that we cannot determine the exact relationship between A and B. We do not know what is the exact relationship between A and B. A can be greater than B, A can be less than B, or A can be equal to B. Anything is possible, right? Second is that the variables should be same or can be made same. So you can see the second condition for getting an either or case is variables should be same. That is, if let's say conclusion 1 is talking about A and B, then conclusion 2 should also be talking about A and B, right? So the conclusions here, when you combine, you will see that they should have the same variables. Either they should have same variables or the variables should be equal to each other so that we can make them same. We'll have a look at that also, that what is the meaning of this part, that is they can be made same. Now let's understand. Let's say we have A is greater than B, B is greater than equal to C, C is less than B, and D is equal to T. Right? This is the statement that we have. Okay. Now you have to determine the relation from A to T, right? You have to determine the relation from A to T. What is the relation from A to T? So you can see that you cannot travel from A to T. You cannot travel from A to T because between C and D there is a closed end. So you can see there are symbols of opposite nature. We have greater than, equal to, and then we have a less than. So from A to D you cannot travel. You cannot travel from A to D. Right? That is not a possibility. So that means the answer here will be cannot be determined. So what is the meaning of cannot be determined? That means A can either be greater than B, right? A can either be greater than B, A can either be less than B, or A can be equal to B. So anything is possible here. We do not know the relationship. That is the meaning of cannot be determined, right? So anything is possible from A to B. Now let's understand. Let me give you two conclusions here. Let's say we have the first one as A is greater than B, and the second one is A is less than equal to B. Right? Let's say these are the two cases that we have. These are the two conclusions that are given. Now you can see as per the second one, variables should be same or can be made same. Right? Now you can see that in first one and second one, we do not have the same variables. But can we make the variables same? That is the question. Okay. You can see that A is okay. A will be problem. The problem is that this has D and this has E. But if you look closely, you can see here that D and E are equal to each other. So where you have written D, you can write it as E also. That is, if it is given as A is less than equal to E, it can be written as A is less than equal to D. Why? Because D and E are interchangeable. Right? The values there, they are equal to each other. So if they are equal to each other, that means you can change the value, you can interchange their values. So where you have been given A less than equal to E, you can also write it as A is less than equal to D. So you can see when you compare the two, now you will have the same variables. That is, in the first one also you have A and D, and in the second one also you have A and D. Okay, that is the meaning of variables should be same or can be made same. Is it clear to everybody? Please let me know if we have any doubts in there. किसी को कोई doubt हो please बताइएगा. Everybody clear with this, that how we are solving it, right? So you can see that either the variables should be same in the two conclusions or they can be made same. Okay. Now what is the third one? Third one suggests that all the relations, all possible relations should be there. अब इसका क्या मतलब है? That is all possible relations should be there. That is when you combine the two conclusions. Let's say you have these two conclusions here. You can see that first condition is okay. That is conclusions are not definitely true or definitely false. A is greater than B can be true, can be false because we have the relation from A to D as cannot be determined. So you can see the first conclusion is also not definitely true or false. The second conclusion is also not definitely true or false. First one explains that. Sophia, what is the meaning of conclusions should not be definitely true or definitely false? Now let's understand this. Let's say we have A is greater than B, right? If A is greater than B, if we are getting this as A greater than B, so that means what is A definitely false if you have been given A is less than equal to B. Let's say from here, what is the relation that you see between A and B? So you see the relation from A to B is A greater than B. Let's say if the conclusion says A is less than B, or let's say it says A is equal to. So you can see these are getting definitely false, right? They are definitely false because you can see the relation from A to B is A is greater than B. But the conclusion was suggesting that A is less than B or A is equal to B. That means it will be definitely false because you have a definite answer between them, which is something different. Okay, so that is your definitely false. Now definitely true. Let's say if it is given that A is greater than B, right? You can see here that this is a definite case. You can see what is the relation from A to C. You will have a A greater than than C. So that is a definite answer here. That means we are getting the same relation that we should have. We are not getting anything different. Now what will be a possibility? Right? What will be a possibility? Let's say if we were given A is greater than equal to C. Now you can see here that greater than equal to is giving you a possibility, right? It is not a definitely true or definitely false because the relation between A to C has to be A greater than C. But here you are getting A greater than C and you are getting A less than C, right? You are getting all the or you are getting, sorry, not less than, you are getting A is equal to C, right? So this is a kind of possibility. And so similarly, when you have a cannot be determined also, you are getting a possibility here, right? In cannot be determined also, you have a possibility because we have all the three possible relations between them. Okay. Now let's understand what was conclusion 3. What was the condition 3 here? Condition 3 suggests that all the possible relations should be established when you combine the two conclusions, right? So all the possible relations should be established when you combine the relations here. Okay. Now let's understand the concept. Let's say we have a symbol. We have this one. Let's say this is your A greater than equal to B, greater than equal to C. This is equal to D. Now what is the relationship from A to D? You can see that if you have to determine the relation of A to D, you will have A is greater than equal to D, right? You have A is greater than equal to D. Now let's understand. We have two conclusions here. The first one says A is greater than D, and the second one says A is equal to D. You can combine these two to form an either or. Why? Because you can see that A, between the A and B, between the two variables, what were the relations that you were getting from the statement? You were getting a greater than equal to, right? You were getting a greater than equal to. Now, when you combine the two conclusions given in the first one and second one, you can see that we are getting both the possible relations. So you can see whatever the exact relationship that should be there between A and D, whatever possible signs you are getting between A and D, as per the statement, right? That should be there in conclusion also. Let's say if you have to determine this one, let's say this is your A less than F. So now let's assume what will be the relation between A to F. You can see between A to F, the relation maybe cannot be determined. Okay, so if you have a cannot be determined, let's say the first conclusion says A is less than F, and the second one says A is greater than equal to F, right? So now can you combine them to form an either or? What is the exact relationship from A to F? We know it is cannot be determined. So when you have a cannot be determined, that means anything is possible. Greater than is also possible, less than is also possible, and equal to is also possible. Now when you combine the first and second, you can see from the first one you are getting a case of less than, and from the second one you are getting a case of greater than and equal to. That is the meaning. So for checking the complementary pair, these are the three requirements. I hope everybody is clear with this one. Okay, don't worry, we will be going through the questions now that will help us understand whether we will have the answer as either or neither, right? So quickly go through this one and let me know whether